This week in security, an AI agent uncovers 21 zero days in FFmpeg. Chrome ships a record 429 fixes. Cisco warns of an actively exploited SD-WAN flaw with no patch. CISA flags a SolarWinds DOS as exploited. NPM faces coordinated package abuse, and a Chinese APT keeps footholds in Microsoft 365 with new malware. Here's what matters and what to do next. Welcome to your operational cybersecurity briefing. The common threats today are active exploitation, urgent patching cycles, and supply chain exposure. Stay focused on reducing attack surface, tightening controls around third-party code and cloud identity, and validating that mitigations actually hold under live conditions. First, AI agent uncovers 21 zero days in FFmpeg. Chrome patches record 429 bugs. Headline context: one of the most ubiquitous media libraries, FFmpeg, had 21 previously unknown vulnerabilities identified, all by an autonomous AI agent, while Google pushed Chrome 149 with fixes for 429 security bugs, the most ever in a single release. Key facts: the FFmpeg discoveries underline the breadth of exposure across software that handles video or audio. The Chrome release represents an unusually large patch volume in a mainstream browser. Why it matters? When core components and widely deployed clients move this much in a single week, patching cadences and dependency tracking get stress-tested. Defender takeaway: inventory where FFmpeg is embedded across your estate, applications, appliances, and transitive dependencies, and prioritize updates from vendors that bundle new library versions. Move Chrome environments to 149 on an expedited schedule, validate extension compatibility, and tighten enterprise update enforcement to close lagging endpoints. Next, Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN Manager CVE 2026-2020-45 flaw, actively exploited, no patch available. Headline context: Cisco reports active exploitation of a high-severity issue in Catalyst SD-WAN Manager. Key facts: the flaw carries a CVSS score of 7.8, has no patch yet, and affects multiple deployment types, including on-prem, SD-WAN Cloud Pro, Cisco Managed SD-WAN Cloud, and SD-WAN for Government, FedRAMP. Why it matters: active exploitation plus a management plane target raises immediate operational risk for large networks coordinating edge connectivity. Defender takeaway: apply Cisco's published interim mitigations where available. Restrict SD-WAN Manager access to trusted administrative networks or VPN with allow listing. Enforce strong MFA for all admins and step up monitoring for unusual config changes, new user creation, and session anomalies. Prepare validated backups of configurations, and be ready to rotate credentials and tokens associated with SD-WAN management. CISA adds actively exploited SolarWinds ServView DOS flaw to KEV catalog. Headline context: a denial of service vulnerability in SolarWinds ServView, tracked as CVE 2026-28318, with a CVSS of 7.5, is now on the known exploited vulnerabilities list. Key facts: CISA is signaling evidence of active exploitation, and the issue can crash the ServView service. Why it matters: KEV inclusion prioritizes this vulnerability across many environments, and a service crash on a file transfer platform can trigger outages, missed SLAs, and downstream operational disruptions. Defender takeaway: prioritize remediation paths consistent with KEV guidance. If immediate remediation isn't possible, reduce external exposure, place the service behind authenticated proxies or VPN, implement rate limiting where feasible, and deploy monitoring to detect repeated crashes or restarts. Validate business continuity by testing failover or restart procedures so a DOS event doesn't become a prolonged outage. Fourth, ironworm and new miasma worm variant hit NPM in supply chain attacks. Headline context: attackers used malicious and poisoned versions of more than 50 legitimate NPM packages to deliver a Rust-based information stealer and a self-spreading worm. Key facts: the stealer aims to scrape as many secrets as possible from developer machines and leverages an eBPF kernel rootkit for stealth. The worm behavior increases blast radius through propagation. Why it matters: compromised developer endpoints and build systems translate directly into credential theft, repository takeovers, and downstream package poisoning that can silently reach production. Defender takeaway: lock down package sourcing with private registries or allow lists, pin exact versions, and enforce lock files and builds, and scan dependencies pre- and post-install. Audit recent package additions or upgrades across projects. If suspicious activity is found, rotate developer credentials, tokens, and keys. Strengthen developer endpoint telemetry, including kernel-level visibility, and tighten egress controls to limit data exfiltration. Finally, Chinese APT deploys new malware to keep access to hacked networks. Headline context: the group tracked as UNC5221 is maintaining access to Microsoft 365 environments using the Brickstorm backdoor and previously undocumented malware named Planet and Agent PSD. Key facts: this is the latest development in an ongoing campaign focused on persistence within cloud productivity platforms. Why it matters: sustained access to Microsoft 365 means continued visibility into email, files, and identity fabric, with potential for quiet data theft and long dwell times. Defender takeaway: perform a targeted tenant review, inspect application consents, service principals, inbox rules, and privileged roles. Enforce conditional access and MFA everywhere. Disable legacy authentication, and review sign-in and audit logs for anomalous patterns. Reissue and revoke tokens where appropriate. Rotate high-value credentials, and validate that incident response playbooks cover cloud identity, not just endpoint and on-prem directory controls. Across these stories, the pattern is clear. Active exploitation, rapid patching cycles, and supply chain risks converge to compress Defender response time. Tighten your inventory, accelerate validation and rollout of fixes, and treat developer and cloud identity surfaces as first-class attack targets. If this briefing helped you prioritize your next actions, subscribe for weekly operational updates, share this with your team, and let us know which areas you want deeper dive coverage on next.